The federal government today launched a central database for the management of recovered assets. And it's the very last day of campaign ahead of Saturday governorship election in Edo State, and we'll be touching on some of the crucial issues ahead of Saturday's election. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on Politics Today tonight on Channels Television. We're live from our Benin City studio, where we're monitoring the Edo State governorship election ahead of the Saturday polls, where Edo people are looking forward to elect a governor for the next 4 years. Tonight, we get straight into it. But before we do that, one of the top stories that we're following for you, let's tell you that the federal government has today launched a central database for the management of recovered assets. The Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, spearheaded the launch in Abuja, the nation's capital, where he said that all the assets that have been recovered by the federal government are now tied to specified projects. So in essence and earnest, let us get into the discussions of tonight. And it's about the issues of the election of Saturday. So many issues on the table. But we caught up with the former governor of Edo State and the former national chairman of APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. His name has been on the lips of many politicians ahead of this election. We sat down with him earlier today, and these are some of the issues that are brought up in the conversation. Take a listen to him. Him has come up severally in this campaign for so many reasons. For you, do you think it's a minus or a plus for the candidate?
I believe it's a plus for the candidate and a huge minus for PDP. And so you need to understand, I mean, I feel joy. I'm very proud when I see the former PDP vice presidential candidate, my very good friend, Peter Obi, talking about Godfather Oshiomhole and the governor of Rivers, Oshiomhole, the chairman of PDP Secondus, Oshiomhole. I say, very good, because they will never forget how a small-looking man like me, who they dismissed in 2007 as someone who knew next to nothing outside labor agitation, and that they were going to teach me a lesson, they suddenly found themselves in my classroom, where I am the professor. You know, it's a record that God used me and the good people of Edo State to recover this state from PDP. And they have made several efforts, even while they were at the federal level, to reclaim the state without success. And they had boasted that I will not transmit power to someone on my party platform. Again, they failed. And I'm here. So you will wonder, why will a man, I'm no more national chairman of a political party, I'm just a member of APC now, a very proud member at that. Why am I the issue? The issue is the fact that I lay foundation to dismantle PDP notorious rigging machine. And for them, rigging is a way of life. Whoever has dismantled it in this state, they can't forget it in a hurry. And to appreciate the damage that I did to them in Edo, you have to ask yourself the question. After Edo, somehow, even with federal incumbency that we have now, we have not been able to reclaim any of the other South states. So they must keep asking themselves, how did Adams chase us out of Edo? And unfortunately, I don't want to use an unfair word, but it borders on opportunism. Somebody they took to court, they showed their certificate, and so you should be also playing that. When you show what I said of Obaseki, you should also show what Danobi, PDP former chairman, said of Obaseki about his certificate. They are the one who revealed it. On the basis of which they even went to court, but they filed out of time. They show evidence to show that Obaseki did not, and I'm happy you put that question that day, and he couldn't deny it. It's not whether you are in my house now. You are in my house. The issue is, how did you go to my house? You came from Lagos. Okay, by air or by road? This is not mystical. You have to explain. So PDP exposed all of that. And now we have also, that was the basis for disqualification. And you then ask the question, how can you now fit somebody who, before a federal high court, you said, and it's correct, because we have certified true copy of the document with INEC, that the man swore to affidavit claiming that he graduated from University of Ibadan in 2006, and then he attached a certificate, a photocopy, that suggested he graduated in 1979, which means he lied on oath. All this we learn from PDP. So, of course, you should play back PDP mega rally, their flag off, and see the reaction when their new member entered. It's like, people are like, hired as they were, who is this? Now, look at when I entered the stadium, University of Benin Stadium. Look at the reaction of ordinary people. You must have watched, if you haven't, I'll show you the videos. When I walk around the street of Benin, how many of PDP former governors, whether in this state or in any other state, can walk freely without people stoning them?
You said you've built a structure. I mean, this is your statement that you're now a professor teaching PDP, your opponent, how to win elections. But now you built a structure, obviously. How does it feel now that that structure is working against you now?
The structure is not working against me. You see,
of the Governor Bassett,
it's not a structure. Now, if I were to play back to you, yeah, the governor, deputy governor, their tenure is going soon. God willing, by next tomorrow, by the 19th, the referendum will take place.
So you are confident this party is...
Very confident, because Obasanjo has not done anything. All he did is resort to sophistry, do MOU, consultancy for everything. Those consultants want to see where they vote. So I think the point that is going for us is that Obasanjo forgot that the basis of my winning the election, and I keep saying that, it is not for nothing. I checked the records. There was no issue of vote buying. I won all the 18 local government areas. I scored 74.5% of the total vote cast in 2012. He was unknown, he admit, to the Edo electorate. But because I told them he worked with me, and I have to promote him, they gave him the benefit of the doubt. And the basis of continuity was also clear. It wasn't ambiguous. Namely, Edo people believe if Oshiomhole could build that kind of beautiful hospital, Obasanjo would build one that's even more beautiful. Oshiomhole was building red roof schools that appeal to children, primary and secondary. Obasanjo will build the remaining schools that have not been built. What was Edo's position in the ranking of states in terms of the performance of the student from the state in WAEC? We took third in WAEC, down from about 30th position, where we were in 2008 when I became governor. We took second in NECO, down from about 28th position, where we were by 2008 when I became governor. We brought it down, though. We took third and second. Obasanjo, over the past 2-3 years, don't take it from me. Place a call to crotchet this fact. Edo did not even feature in the ranking, because in terms of the number of students that participated and their performance, we simply fell out of the ranking scale. So that is the way to measure. So when I see him talk about Edo best, that is a huge fraud.
A lot of conversation around how you helped Governor Obasanjo into power. Yeah. But there hasn't really been a lot of conversation around how he said he helped you also becoming governor, and how he helped you, why governor. Did he help you to become governor?
So this question, you know, as I said, I smile when I watch these things. Since it is clear now that he doesn't really want to be a governor, he's currently a governor, and he wants to perpetuate, he wants a second term, it means that he has always wanted to be a governor. Right? It would have been a solid dream. Why didn't he help himself first before helping me? You know, as they say, when you fly, you are in an airplane, they tell you, should the oxygen mask fail, should there be an emergency? Should there be an emergency, oxygen mask will drop. Help yourself before helping another. So how come Obaseki couldn't make himself, if he was in a position, go and check the balance sheet of Afriverse? Because he was a stockbroker, which local people call Kalu. Go and look at the balance sheet that they filed with the Corporate Affairs Commission and see Obaseki's net worth. All right? What Obaseki mistake for when you are doing a ceremony and I name you as master of ceremony and the ceremony turned out to be successful, I will now claim that you organized the ceremony for me. How?
So
but check his balance sheet. Wait, a man who was not a registered voter in Edo State, how can he say he account for? I hired him. The point is, I was and I remain convinced that sometimes, I tell Edo people, this is Edo project. And every Edo brain that is willing to contribute ideas, we want to listen. I have people like, of course, Obaseki. I have people like Imomo, who was deputy managing director of Shell. I have people like Aswe Igudaro. I had, there were about 18 Edo people from different professional backgrounds that we assembled. And I said, I challenge you guys to look at the situation in Edo and help us develop a blueprint. And then we can interrogate each other on how it can be operationalized. Like you have honorary board of advisors, just like President Buhari did recently. He had a panel well-known, some of them not so well-known, but some economists and others as honorary economic advisors. And now for those people to turn out tomorrow to say, we made Buhari president. No. You cannot give what you don't have. Does Obaseki have electoral value? Check his report. One of the cases PDP took to court was that he had double registration, that he registered in Lagos, and only in 2016, in his election, that he voted in Edo for the very first time. So how can a man who doesn't know, it's actually after he became governor, that he bought a house where he lives now. So do you know what makes a governor? His votes. His votes. On the contrary, in fairness, the person who I talked to step down for me and who I can confess to you, share with me what politics is in Edo, because I didn't live here. He says, Yamo.
So when you heard that he said he's going to end your political career after this election, how does that make you feel?
See, I wish we are not discussing personalities. A political lizard is saying that he's going to end the political relevance of a political lion. And you want me to debate that? When PDP as a machine, at the peak of their power, and ordered the Obasanjo's regime of do-or-die politics, he said so publicly. And Chief Anini clarified it. Do-or-die means if he loses Edo State, for example, it means he's politically dead. Those well-known, respected nationally, these were not local champions. Late Chief Anini was respected beyond the bounds of southern Nigeria, all the way all over the country. Ogbemudia, not only has he paid his dues as a former governor, he's highly respected in this town. But when it comes to that electoral issues, Edo people believe not those people. And I won. And they said, that was my opening remark, that they will teach me a lesson, that labor is not politics. That's why I said in the end, those who said they were going to teach me, they ended up being my pupils, and I became the professor. Now you're asking me, a man who was not registered voter, who couldn't win a unit. In the last presidential election, Obaseki lost his ward. He lost his local government. He lost his represented in the House of Rep by PDP. He's represented in the Senate by PDP. I myself, not being a governor, we won all our House of Assembly. We won all our federal constituencies in Edo North. We won. The only senator from Edo is from my area. So how can a guy who, anyway, he can say it to you because after all, with 3 credit, he claimed to go to university. So he can claim that he's going to teach me a lesson, but the examination day is on Saturday. we'll find out who is the teacher.
Well, you heard those comments there from Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, but we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get a PDP perspective to some of these issues. Don't go anywhere. We'll just get started, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here from our Benin City studio, where we are monitoring the governorship election of Saturday for you. You heard and you watched some portion of the interview we had earlier with the former national chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. Of course, you can watch the full length of that interview on Channels Television's YouTube page. And of course, you will get the link to watch it also from our website and on some other of our social media platforms. Let's get some response now. Tonight, we're going to be hearing from the official spokesperson of the PDP in this campaign and, of course, in the PDP in Edo State. I'm being joined on the program by Chris Nahiare, who is the spokesperson of the PDP in the state. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming tonight.
Thank you, Sean, for having me.
First and foremost, let's take the issues one after the other. For some of the things that Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has said, first and foremost, your party had a press conference to say the APC does not have a candidate. What do you mean by that?
It's obvious. The APC does not have a candidate. The APC structure, as it is in Edo State today, has completely collapsed into the PDP. From the 192 ward chairmen to the 80 local government party chairmen, all the executive of the state ESCO of APC, they are all members of PDP today. What we have, the other side, is a faction of APC that is popularly referred to as APM. That is the candidate on the ballot and is imposing himself as an impostor under the APC platform. And you are aware that APC members have gone to court and have said at several fora that they do not have a candidate. So it's going to be interesting. And my advice to Edo people is that do not waste your votes on APC, because the only candidate of this party or this election is the PDP candidate, Governor Obaseki, who has been endorsed by both APC and PDP. He's flying under the PDP
What
platform.
you're saying presently now is not confirmed by INEC, is what politicians are talking about.
INEC does not confirm who is in the political party. Their job is to organize elections. Party
are
members,
you saying in terms of membership or ballot? Who is going to be on the ballot? Because INEC has not come out to say...
No, on the ballot, what we have is APC and PDP. You don't have Pastor Ezeyamu or Obaseki. That's what you have on the ballot. So it is the party that determines who the members or who their candidate is. Not you that says, I'm a candidate of what. No, the party determines who the candidate is. For PDP, we can tell you the candidate is Godwin Obaseki. For APC, the chairman of APC has told us and has told the whole world that he does not have a candidate.
Okay. The Comrade Adams Oshiomhole has spoken about his expertise. I mean, coming into politics in Edo State, how he won the election, his popularity, and how he said he broke down the PDP's rigging machine. How would you react to that?
I would say Oshiomhole is living in a fool's paradise. Oshiomhole was suspended by a ward chairman, and today is not a member of any political party. His suspension is still subsisting. And we all know that.
But you're a member of the PDP. How do you know what is happening in their party?
The court determined it. Are you not aware that he was suspended? Are you not aware that he was already a ward chairman? Are you not aware that the courts, all to the appeal court, said he cannot be chairman and he was kicked out? These are the issues. He goes and he talks a lot. So when he speaks, we look at him and listen. As governor, he was also very garrulous. He has not changed, and that is what cost him his job as the national chairman. If he was a good politician, he would remain the national chairman of the party. But he's such a bad politician, he was kicked out because of the disgrace, the disdain he brought to APC. He has destroyed that party. The fabrics that tied that party together, he has broken it.
Is that what your party feels? Or
that's what Nigerians feel, and that's what APC feel, and that's what Mr. President feels by sacking him and insisting that he must go.
He talked about Mr. Obaseki's performance, and according to Mr. Oshiomhole, he said Obaseki has not performed.
Oshiomhole's perception is not the perception of Edo people. Oshiomhole is myopic. He thinks by jumping into little gutters. Oshiomhole is the one that has a problem with performance, and that is why he does not want Obaseki to complete the second term, because Oshiomhole will be drafted. Obaseki has done so well. Civil service reform, pensions reform, health reform, Edo-based program, the stadiums, the roads. If I can't start talking now, the time is too short for me to catalog what Obaseki has achieved in the last 4 years. And Edo people know this, and that is why when you drive on the streets of Benin, everybody tells you 4 plus 4, Togba, which means it must be complete 4 plus 4.
What does Togba mean?
Togba means it must be complete.
It's a Benin word?
It's a Benin word, yes.
Okay.
It must be complete.
And you seem very confident about Saturday, because the way you were talking, what gives you the confidence about the candidature candidacy of Mr. Obaseki? It
is the enthusiasm with which the Edo people received us in the 192 wards we visited. The enthusiasm when you walk from point A to point B within Benin on any of the 18 local governments and they identify you as the PDP person, they come to you, they mob you and tell you that we are with you 100%. Because their lives are touched at every level. The pensioners' lives are touched by the Obaseki clearing the pensions, which was owed, especially by Oshiomhole, who killed them and killed them in terms of making them cry every day for their pensions to be paid. Obaseki cleared that. The civil servants are having a new lease of life by the completion and the modernization of their secretariat and the opportunity to be trained and retrained to perform better. The school teachers are happy because they've now gotten training, they now have a new mode of teaching, and the students are better for it.
The average voter in Edo State feel what you're feeling? Because if you hear what Mr. Oshiomhole has said about Mr. Eze-Iyamu's candidature and that of Mr. Obaseki, it does feel like he's a popular person on the ground, and they believe what he has sold to them in the candidature of yet another, according to him, a very popular candidate, Mr. Eze-Iyamu.
Oshiomhole is swallowing the bitter pill. He knows that this is the end of the era for him. Edo people have said never again will they have people like Oshiomhole have their hands on our treasury. You see, his government was a government of thugs. Government of what he even called himself a lion, lions and tigers.
Do you have evidence of the thugs that you're talking about?
Of course, we all
just making allegations.
Today, our market women, traders are all happy because now the levies they pay to government, the tax they pay to government are collected in a humane manner, not by force, not by harassment. And these thugs that Oshiomhole used, and this is where the problem started when the government said no, our mothers should be free from harassment and thuggery.
Let's conclude this conversation in 20 seconds. And I'd like to ask, you worked with Mr. Eze-Iyamu 4 years ago.
Yes.
You had the heart POI 4 years ago, but now you're wearing that of Obaseki. You don't believe in the man you believed in 4 years ago. Has anything changed? 20 seconds, please.
Nice man, Eze-Iyamu, nice man. But unfortunately, I love Edo State more. I love Edo State more. I do not want access to Edo State through Adas Oshiomhole and his friend in Lagos, Bola Tinubu. Edo State is for Edo people. Thank you so much, Chris Nahiare, the the spokesperson of the PDP in Edo State. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you and your response on some of these issues. Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. Don't forget that you can be with us right here. We'll keep you company on. If you want to know everything that is happening in Edo State, you don't need to come down. We are on the ground. Is here. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Oshiomhole. Bye-bye.